Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Dofus episode 7 and 8. And I'm not gonna bullshit around with you here, I'm gonna just start off by saying it. There is a possibility I will be dropping it after these episodes. It really just depends on what these episodes are like and how they go and everything. If you've been watching up to this point, then you already understand my thoughts on this series so far. And if you haven't been watching up to this point, you should probably go back and watch those other reactions. But the point is here that I've not been enjoying it that much. It's basically this pseudo prequel to Wakfu, and my big problem is that Wakfu kind of gave me these expectations with this kind of thing, with this, I guess the universe is called the Krasmas. It's given me these expectations. Wakfu is this grand adventure. It has a lot of great character moments, a lot of just amazing depth to it, and the world kind of builds into itself. Let's put it that way. The world kind of builds into itself, and just grows and expands with every episode. This series seems like a kind of almost complete opposite stance on the thing. It takes place in the same world. There's a lot of the same things that we know from Wakfu in here. We actually get to meet one of the gods of the Krasmas. But they take away a lot of the depth, a lot of the world building, and replace it with just very simple, very comedic, comedy-based storytelling. It's all based around the comedy, and it's not even good comedy, in my personal opinion. If you like it, that's fine, but it's very, in my eyes, the comedy is very childish and, well, obviously immature. It comes across as like the kind of humor you would hear from middle school kids, not even high school kids. And high school kids have very immature humor, but no, middle school kid humor. It's just really silly and stupid. When they're making fart jokes, that there's a problem. It's in the end just not my kind of humor. And the problem is the show focuses almost entirely on that. And I know a lot of you have disagreed with me regarding this, but my other big issue is the misdirection of the first couple episodes. I've tried to see it in another way, I just have been unable to. The first couple episodes paint this female character whose name I can never remember because they don't care about her in this series at all. She doesn't matter. But the first couple episodes painted her as if she was the main character. It painted her as if the story was going to center around her and her new time living with Cherubim. It kind of painted the series as if it was going to be like maybe she was trying to escape something and living with Cherubim was going to help her. Or maybe something was going to happen while she was living with Cherubim. The point is that it was definitely trying to show her as the main character, with Cherubim and Joris as sort of supporting cast. But in the end, it kind of goes in opposite direction. It has Cherubim be the main character, and all of the episodes are basically just him telling stories to Joris and the girl. And it comes across as very episodic and silly, and again, with the immature and childish humor. I knew ahead of time it wasn't going to be as phenomenal as Wakfu. You guys told me ahead of time that it wasn't going to be as big or grand as that show. So I expected that, but I don't know, I just didn't expect it to be this much lower in quality. And again, this is all my opinion. If you like Dofus, that's completely fine. But I haven't been enjoying it so far. And the reason I went through all of that is because, as I said right away, it's likely that I'm going to be dropping it today. These two episodes have to really turn me around on the show at this point. I've the only reason I even continued this long, honestly, is because I kept seeing potential in it. I saw the potential. I saw the ability for it to get good, but I haven't been seeing it cash in on that. And I know it's like a 50 something episode show, but by this point, they should have really like gotten into it. They should have really just gotten the viewers interested and invested in everything going on, and we're not. I mean, and the entire thing saying, oh, it's a kids show doesn't even work, because I mean, Samurai Jack is a kids show. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a kids show. My Little Pony, Steven Universe, Star vs. the Force Revealed, although all of those are kids shows. And yet they get you invested very early on in the show. They get you to care about the characters. They use humor and storytelling that, while sometimes can be a little immature, most of the time are actually pretty clever and more modern. Now, I don't know when Dofus came out, but I would have to assume like it came out within the late 2000s, early 2010s. It just seems like that kind of show. But still, the humor just isn't good. It is definitely aimed at a younger audience than Whack Fu was. But Whack Fu was still a kid's cartoon too in the long run. So it's like, if Whack Fu could do all that stuff, why couldn't Dofus? I don't know. Some people say like these kind of shows, they'll lump in stuff like Teen Titans Go and the 2016 Powerpuff Girls. Oh, these aren't for your audience. These are for the current audience. It's not supposed to appeal to you. And it's I never really subscribed to that theory either, because whether it's meant for your age group or not, if a show is bad, it's still bad. It doesn't matter if it's meant for your age group or not. It doesn't matter if it's being marketed towards a younger audience. You can't, that entire idea holds no water. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is the biggest example of why. Do you know who that show is marketed towards? Do you know who it is meant for? It is meant for young kids. Most specifically, young girls. And yet the vast majority of the audience is adult men and women. Mostly men. Do you know why that is? That's because it has good writing. It has good writing, well-written characters, likable situations. It takes its audience seriously. So I'm sorry, those kind of ideas that, oh, it's not meant for you, so you don't need to like it. It doesn't matter if you like it. That kind of thing holds no water. Or saying just it's a kid's show holds no water. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Any show has to be held to a certain standard. And again, I'm going to stress this. If you like Dofus, if you like any of these shows that I mentioned, Teen Titans Go, Powerpuff Girls 2016, whatever else, if you like that stuff, awesome. I am legitimately glad that you do, because it shows that there is an audience for that, and it shows that our tastes as humans are different. No person's taste is better or worse than another's. It's just we all have our different tastes in cartoons, anime, live action TV, music, everything. And we should embrace that. So I am glad if someone does like that. I may not be able to understand it. I may not get it. I may be confused by it, but I do appreciate it. So if you love Dofus, and I'm sure a lot of you do, because this one was suggested to me many times. If you love Dofus, I'm very happy that you do. I personally just haven't been. And I felt the need to say this all because I want you to understand that if I do drop this, it's not because it's not because I'm saying that I'm disappointed that you guys suggested this to me. It's not because I feel that this show, like, betrayed me, per se. It's more of, it just doesn't fit or align with my personal tastes. It's not the kind of show I enjoy. And it's unfortunate, and I wish that weren't so, but that's what it seems like is happening here. And that's a risk that I take with any show I watch on here. I'm not one of those reactors who will only watch shows that I basically am guaranteed to like. I don't believe in that personally. If they want to do it, that's fine, and that's their choice. But I personally believe that when I watch a show on here, I'm going to basically give anything a chance, especially if it's suggested by you guys. I'm willing to give anything and everything a chance and go in as blind as possible because I want to experience the show. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. If I do, I do. And I know the idea about, oh, but we suggested this, and it's like, this was even, basically, you could say was paid for by you guys, because with the first mega stream back in February, this was voted on through donations. And the donations, I mean, still went towards stuff, so it's not like you're completely getting nothing out of it, because you still got games and stuff were added to the streams and everything because of it. So you still get something out of it, but I understand feeling disappointed by that, because you guys legitimately put in money towards my streams and everything with the chance of me reacting to this. And I do apologize for that, very much so. But I say it with every show I react to. There is no guarantee I will finish it. I'm not going to just sit here and continue to watch it if I'm not enjoying it. It's not how I do things. And I'm not one of those reactors who will do that, who will continue watching a show just because I don't want to drop it and leave fans or leave viewers hanging. While I do this channel very much so for you guys, it's also very much for me. And I'm not going to put myself through something that I'm not enjoying and force myself to basically be miserable just because I want to please you guys. I know that sounds rude or something, but I hope you understand. And a lot of you have said before that you understand this kind of thing, so it's nothing against you at all. It's just I don't want to put myself through that misery watching a show I'm not enjoying pretty much at all. And again, that's how far I have to get for it too. As I've said before, for dropping a show, I pretty much have to have no interest in continuing. But let's move on, because I've been talking about this for 14 minutes now, and I could talk about it for a lot more time. But we do have a reaction to get on to. And whether it's my last Dofus reaction or not, we'll see. I honestly do legitimately hope it's not. I want this show to be good. I want it to impress me. And I really hope it does here. We'll have to see. If not, there will be a poll for the next reaction series for Mondays. And that will be put up in another video shortly after this one. And if that happens and all, I will discuss that more in the afterthoughts. So in the meantime, let's get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Uh, I will say, I will admit, these 2 episodes were a little more entertaining. These 2 episodes had at least some semblance of good humor to them, at least a couple good jokes. And there was some interesting ideas in them. But they weren't enough. And I really hate to say that. I really do. I really apologize and all, but yeah, this show is just like, it's just not my thing. It's not my kind of humor for the most part. It's not my kind of storytelling. I'm not that invested in the characters. I don't really like any of them except I like the one girl whose name I can never remember because she's not focused on. And I kind of was enjoying the psychotic side to Helen, or Helene, or however it's pronounced. And then that Pandawa girl was kind of cute. But in general, even all those are just kind of like one aspect of the characters, really. Like with Helene, it's just I find her hilarious because of how insane she was. With the Pandawa girl, she was cute. Cancun, I think her name was. And the only other one I really like, is the main girl. The one who's acting as the housekeeper and all. And only because in the few episodes that she has had focus in, she had been given quite an interesting character and more of a, honestly, main character traits and real main character traits than our actual main character. Honestly, I'm not a fan of Cherubim. I don't think he's an interesting character. I think his ego and his overblown image of himself is annoying. And I don't find him funny or entertaining to watch. I mean, Joris is kind of just okay for me. He doesn't really have much to him. He's a little kid. That's his entire character. There's nothing to him beyond that. And the other characters are just kind of like either one-offs or just not important enough. All in all, these episodes were better than past ones have been. I will admit that. I will acknowledge that. But they still weren't good. I do hate to say that. I really do. But I can't, like, I'm not going to say they were good when I don't think they were. So, unfortunately, that does mean we are dropping Dofus. And that I also very much apologize for. Again, I know this was a recommendation, and it was something a lot of you wanted to see me react to because of how much I enjoyed Wakfu. But this show's not for me. I will watch the movie still, though. I did promise that even if I drop the series, I would still watch the movie. I was told I also don't need to watch the rest of the series, I guess, to understand what goes on in the movie. So, yeah. I will watch the movie at some point. But probably not right away, because I still have to react to the movies that were voted on in this past week's Mega Stream. Song of the Sea and the other one. I can't remember what the other one was at the moment, but you know. Oh yeah, it was one of the Monogatari, Kizu Monogatari, I think. Either way, I have it written down. So yeah, I'm going to get to those first, but Dofus will come still, the movie. In the meantime, though, this does mean we will need another show for Monday's slot, for the Western animation slots, as I basically call it. So we're going to need another show, and so here's how it's going to work. I'm going to put up a video in a little bit, and it's going to include in the description a poll. The video is just going to explain the poll and the choices on it, and why I put them all on it, and why I'm thinking about reacting to them. You will go to the poll, and you will vote for which one you want to see me react to. It's really as simple as that. And whichever one wins by probably by Sunday. I'm probably going to have it go to Sunday. Because, I mean, it has to be ready for next Monday, so. Whichever one wins either way, that's the one I'm going to start reacting to next. And I'm going to do polls again for anime as well, but the next anime series is already confirmed for after Ancient Magus. It's going to be Yona of the Dawn. And after that, we'll get to the polls for anime as well. But for now, we're still doing it for Western animation. And as just a note, if there's anything on my poll that is multi-season, and I know there is, we are only doing one season at a time. So if I finish the first season, that doesn't mean I'm going to go straight into the next. That second season might come for the future. Just because I do want to continue to have a number of things going on. I don't want to just constantly go through the same show for months and months on end. You know, I want to have variety in what's going on this channel. But yeah, I really wish I had enjoyed this series more. Maybe I'll watch it on my own time if I feel like it. But it's definitely not something I want to put a lot of effort into, especially with reactions. And honestly, it's not super likely I'll check more out on my own time. But hey, you never know. In the meantime, thank you all so much for suggesting this to me in the first place. And thank you so much for just being so understanding about things. And I hope you can understand where I'm coming from with all of my thoughts on this. Like I said, though, these 2 episodes were at least a little more entertaining, a little better than the last few. They at least had some humor and all. But it wasn't enough. So, in the meantime, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you all for just continuing to support the channel. And as always, if you have more suggestions for future shows, please leave them in the comments below on any video. Suggest a way. Suggest any and all shows. I'll tell you, maybe I've seen it before, in which case I won't react to it. But if I haven't seen it, I might. I could put it on my list. So, always suggest shows. That's what I'm trying to say here. Always suggest shows. I always want to continue building my list. But in the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie Royal, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And don't just live for tomorrow, or just live for yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles,